Hello there, my ladies and pretty gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Look What's Happening in the Spirit Realm with yours truly, Light. This episode is about fellow chosen ones and how they have interacted amongst each other. I'm going to start by saying that there is a particular chosen one who has been, if there is even such a phenomena as being downgraded, they've been downgraded, or they've been set back a few steps in order to investigate themselves. Now I'm going to break this down because this is branched off into two different groups. I made a very short video about this yesterday on TikTok, but I feel called to actually break this down deeper because this all happened because at one point in their journey, they were called to do something by God. Their spirit, their soul called them to journey on a different direction. But for whatever reason, maybe they were getting financial or some type of worldly gain in their life that they couldn't be able to sacrifice that in order to go into the path that God was calling them to go into. Now, this created a tension between you and them because when you interacted with this fellow chosen one, you became a reminder of the path that they did not take, even though it wasn't set in stone, meaning they were actually being invited through your presence to finally meet one such as themselves and take that path that they were afraid to in the past. But instead what happened was they fell into a state of comparison. Now I'm going to break this down because there are two separate ones. The first one is the one that wanted to sort of latch onto you for possible financial gain or windfall. And the second version is the one that wanted to latch onto you for specifically sexual desires. But both of them have something deep in common. And this is the fact that nothing or no one could measure up to how much you fed them. There was something so satisfactory about using you or abusing you or taking from you. The sweetness was so great and so tempting that they were very compromised in your presence. And it's funny because the more they tasted of that sweetness, even though it was a double-edged sword, the more they fell into the pit of resenting you and comparing themselves to you because you are a lot like them. At this time, what I'm getting is a lot of questioning from their part as to exactly whether you know or how you know, and how exactly you were able to release yourself from their bind, because they thought that they had you wrapped around their finger because they're wrapped around your finger. And the thing that allowed you at this point to be able to walk away or move on is the fact that you're not seeing it from a perspective of them hurting you. You're being graced the sight to understand that what they're taking from you is because you have a lot to give. You know, you can see somebody hurting you from two different perspectives. And the perspective that God is now bestowing upon you is the perspective of that's how much they want you. That's how much you are of service to them. And because of this foresight or insight of love, you're able to sort of wash your hands clean of the situation regardless of whether it is actively going on right now or if it's in the past. So this is what I'm hearing. The one in specific that was kind of overwhelmed by the sexual desire towards you is because of their feeling. They weren't able to anchor down that spiritual enlightenment, that spiritual energy that was being kindled between you because they're emotionally stumped. It's like there's a part of them that's emotionally stunted, like they're very much in their child state. So it immediately went from the soul to spirit to a carnal desire. And so they're struggling with that. And for those that were close to you for supposed financial gain, this one is a different breed because they weren't in particular interested in you, and they knew that from the very beginning. But they settled down, or they let you believe that there was some kind of connection with them. And I'm talking specifically because these are chosen ones. And this in particular, this one has been in a very stagnant state, right? They really don't believe in this world as much as a lot of us don't. But what happened was that they continuously compared themselves to you, your resilience, and how much their journey versus your journey and your struggle versus their struggle, like who is bigger, who's the bigger beast. This one in particular continuously fought themselves to not see you as above them, because that was their particular trauma, their particular struggle that they were supposed to deal with you. That was the particular path that further down the line before you met that they should have dealt with, that they were invited to take on that journey, but they refused. So in your interaction with them, they, even though they are more pure than a lot of the quote-unquote karmics that I talk about that you've came across, they as well became very much, they became the character that they didn't want to be around you. And they continued to blame you as they continued to hurt and harass and attack you, because that is not something that they are. See, that's something that they've been above all their life as a chosen one. And this is what I'm getting. It's a very specific message. They thought that they had to play by your rules. They thought that in a connection with you, there was supposed to be the boss and the employee. And that was when they failed. That is the point where they actually misinterpreted the purpose of your connection. And this is why, for those of you who were in contact with the one that I described, the one that's into your possible financial windfall, that one, God is going to remove you from that situation right before you receive your blessing. And that individual is going to have to face some kind of demon, because they are also inheritors. They're also able to receive what they supposedly believe that you are more resilient enough to receive. See, there was specific energy, there was specific emotions that you were there to target or to trigger in these individuals. And I could say the same for you. And whatever it is, you probably know what they triggered in you. And for a lot of you, it has a lot to do with deservingness, because you may have fell into the trap of over-serving these people as well. Especially because they were fellow chosen, especially because their spirit and their soul resonated with you. And the kind of challenge that they presented in your life was that of feeling like even those of your soul family will betray you. And the only relationship that you can truly trust is that of the relationship you have with God. Regardless of what they were actually after, whether it was sex, the intensity of the feelings were completely moved into a carnal desire, or it was them evil eyeing your resilience, knowing that you were going to receive some kind of monetary or some type of material gain, and they wanted to live off of you. Like, this is what I'm getting, like either or. They wanted to live off of you because they had stopped, in many ways, believing in the miracle that they themselves are. And what I'm hearing is regarding this whole being downgraded, right? It's actually them repeating a timeline. Their evil eyeing you allowed you to retreat into God. And them being triggered by you in those specific areas of their life is now giving them the new passion or the new fervor to actually take that path that at one point they denied their soul to take. So this journey right here with these specific chosen ones, it's going to be a journey where you interact with them and worlds get destroyed and you go your separate ways and worlds get built. There is a lot of purpose attached to it, but there's also a lot of pain because you get to move on, you get to walk away, and all the cards are left in their hands, and there's a deeper world that's being activated through this connection. I hope this resonated.